Hi, I'm Anna Hoffman, and welcome back to Data Exposed. Today, I'm joined by Drew again. Drew, thanks so much for coming back, as always.
Thanks, Anna. Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure. Even better now that we're in person, at least for this one in the studio. And today, we're going to be talking about what are we going to be talking about?
We're going to dive into VS Code. I have some improvements for different development steps that happen in VS Code. I know that developers are getting more and more productive, especially as they're leveraging AI. And so your database has to continue to change with the rest of your application. That's what SQL Projects is here to do.
Okay, great. So, quality of life, making it
Yeah,
easier.
it's kind of detecting errors as you work if everything's not always perfect. And then over time, as your database maybe gets a little bit older, you need to rename some things, move them around. That refactoring isn't common, but it's sticky. So being able to handle that as well.
Okay, cool. Let's dive right in.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm using the AdventureWorks database sample. I know, very shocking, but it has this view that is something you might be
Mhm.
displaying on a website to display product descriptions in different languages. So the culture column is giving us that locale, and it's coming out of the PMX table, which is the alias for product model product description. Quite the mouthful. But most importantly, I need to understand when was the last time this description was updated and localized. Localization is something that's super important for all the products. So I'm going to add mod date to my view. I guess I didn't remember that correctly. Immediately in the background, this
Nice.
whole database model, the whole SQL project, we can either look at it from this view or from the file explorer, has checked and found that this column does not exist on that table definition. I didn't even have to open the other file.
Nice.
And
Nice.
that's a nice, like,
I thought
quick
maybe you made a mistake.
I I might have. And now it's looking up and finding out what are
Oh,
the
wow.
available
Okay.
columns. And so it's giving me that autocomplete.
So this is IntelliSense based on the file system. Oh,
Exactly.
cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
like I'm not connected. I am totally
Uh-huh.
disconnected,
Uh-huh. Nice.
and it's helping me complete that out. So now I have this view, where I've got the modified data on it. Because this is a SQL project, I'm able to check my database into source control, and that would be how I could potentially kick off different deployments to development or
Mhm.
staging and
Mhm.
eventually production. What we noticed along the way here in this view is that product model, product description table doesn't really tell us, like, these are our localized descriptions. And we've maybe gotten some feedback as a database owner that reporting teams are having trouble finding this information, or other data
Okay.
consumers. Over time, maybe we start to think about renaming that table. This is not a decision we take lightly.
Right.
The modification that I'm making to the view here, when that gets deployed, that's an alter view statement.
Uh-huh.
But changing the name of a table, we need to make sure, work with all of our collaborators
Right.
as a part of DevOps, that we're not going to break things. If we have that go ahead, the way that you might approach this with SQL projects is, wherever in the project, I can even
Mhm.
do it right from this view,
Mhm.
right clicking on the product, the table name, and hitting rename symbol.
Oh.
It's going to ask me what I would want to name it. Copilot's trying to help me out here, but I'm going to go ahead and specify this is the localized description table.
Mhm.
And if I do control enter or command enter, it's going to give me a preview of all of the places in the SQL project that this
Ooh.
table name would need to be changed. It knew about the view, but maybe we're not super impressed by that. There's the table name itself and anywhere else. And what we're getting added is this refactor log file. So if I hit apply, it's going to change everything locally on
Mhm.
my machine.
Mhm.
We
Mhm.
haven't rolled this out, so we do have other changes to make. That's okay. But what we've gotten along with it is this XML file.
Hmm.
This is the power here of refactoring within SQL projects, because this file, when you build and then deploy your DAC pack, lets the operation know this is not a drop and create. This is not a copy data. This is a basic SP rename. So the data
Oh,
stays in place. It's super fast.
wow. Is this new?
This is something that's existed on SQL projects for a
Okay,
long
great.
time,
Uh-huh.
but it's new to VS Code. So for
Okay.
developers that maybe have started using SQL projects in the last couple of years, kind of based on whatever programming language you're using, you can now kind of continue to adapt your database. So just to prove the point, I am going to go ahead and connect to a database, and we'll generate the script of
Mhm.
what it would need to do to deploy that. We'll get that script back. But I touched on a quick topic about how like we might deploy these changes to a development environment, staging environment, production environment. And it can be challenging to manage all of those different places.
Right.
Now the script is generating in the background, but while it's doing that, I'm going to open up the publish dialog again because I want to point to these publish profiles.
Okay.
Let's say that this is my development environment and I have advanced options. Maybe I have automatic indexing on.
Okay.
It helps me out by creating those indexes that it determines that it needs. And so I want to make sure that we do not drop indexes that are not in source. Usually the SQL project will correct it, but I can change those options and then save a published profile that captures all of that information. And then I can quickly
next time,
republish.
Yeah, and especially maybe if you had like more complex things that you did for certain publishing, if it's to staging or prod.
Yeah, and you might have a ton of different servers to select from, so it's going to save all of that information.
Yeah, nice, awesome.
But that's just a good thing to know about. Let's get back to the refactoring real quick. This is the script of what the publish would run.
Okay.
So it is taking care of those indexes on that table so that it can do the rename. We're altering the view, so we get from product description to the localized description, and this is our rename operation. So we didn't have to move any data, and this publish operation would go really fast. So those are kind of those 3 things in VS Code that hopefully make it easier for developers to take on all kinds of challenges that come with just being responsible for a database.
Cool. Awesome. I love it. Thanks so much, Drew. Any like tips and tricks or things that, maybe people are just getting started with the SQL projects in VS Code that you have?
Yeah. I think the thing that I touched on really briefly about making sure you collaborate with everyone that's involved with the database. Even if you're in the driver's seat with a SQL project, you want to make sure everyone's in the loop. You can absolutely refactor things a lot easier, but you need to make sure all of those cascading changes are put together.
Yeah. Wise words. Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Drew. Thanks for our viewers for tuning in. We hope that you learned something. Go on and check out the MS SQL extension and these new capabilities for SQL projects and VS Code. We'll put some links in the description for you to learn more, and we hope to see you next time on Data Exposed.